I often get asked, what exactly is workers' compensation? The workers' compensation law in the state of Florida is designed to be self-executing. And what that actually means is that you're not supposed to have to get an attorney when you get injured on the job just to get basic routine benefits. Another question I get asked all the time is it workers' comp, workman's comp, work comp? It doesn't matter what you call it. If you hear somebody utilizing one of those terms, they're talking about benefits that you may be entitled to under the Florida workers' compensation law. When would you actually need a workers' comp attorney in the state of Florida? Again, you're not supposed to have to get a workers' compensation attorney involved in a case. However, if you feel that you're not being paid at the correct rate, you haven't been paid for the correct period of time, or there's medical treatment that a doctor has recommended for you that you have not yet received, having an attorney will likely help your situation. Having a workers' compensation attorney in your case will assist you because that attorney will be able to not only share with you their experience, but they know how to navigate the workers' compensation system. They know what benefits you may be entitled to and how to get them for you. In the state of Florida, when we talk about a workers' compensation lawsuit, we're really talking about what we call a petition for benefits. A petition for benefits is the actual document or pleading that we file that initiates litigation for your entitlement to workers' compensation benefits. Once a petition for benefits has been filed in your case, it is mandatory that you attend mediation. Mediation is a meeting where both parties attend with a neutral third party. Sometimes that is a representative from the state court, or it could be what we call a private mediator. But in any event, there is a neutral party there who can't decide your case, but is there to try and assist the parties, try and come to some common ground to resolve the outstanding issues that are about to go to trial, or possibly explore settlement of the claim if that is something that the parties want to explore. When it comes to talking about settlement in a workers' compensation claim, it's important that you understand that settlement is entirely voluntary. If you don't want to settle your case, you don't have to. Nobody can make you. A judge can't make you. A mediator can't make you. The insurance company can't make you. I often tell clients, if you're the most reasonable person in this world and all you want is $100 and the insurance company doesn't want to pay it, there's nothing I can do to make them pay that. And a judge does not have any jurisdiction to force them to pay you that amount of money. In fact, the only thing that a judge can do for you is determine whether you've been paid at the correct rate, whether you've received benefits for the correct period of time, and whether you've gotten all of the medical treatment that you're entitled to. Typically, when it comes to a work-related accident, we see injuries that are orthopedic in nature, meaning we have problems with people's bones and joints and things like that. It's from bending over to pick something up, lifting something overhead, slipping and falling, tripping, having somebody run into you. All of those kinds of things can result in neck injury, back injury, shoulder, knee injury, wrist injury, hand and finger injuries. And that's typically what we see are those types of physical injuries as a result of some acute event that happened at work. Benefits in a workers' compensation claim really fall into one of two categories. One is medical and the other is what we call indemnity. We'll talk about indemnity in a minute. Medical benefits are pretty easy for most people to understand. Medical benefits essentially mean that if you have an authorized doctor that says that you need something and that the reason that you need it is your accident that happened on the job by greater than 50% when compared to any other potential cause, then you're entitled to that medical treatment. Indemnity is a fancy term that we use in the workers' compensation system, but we're really talking about lost wages. So when you get hurt at work, if a doctor that you're treating with says that you can't work, you stay home and workers' comp pays you benefits while you're recovering. If you're on light duty, you also may get paid, but it depends on whether or not the employer has work available for you within those restrictions. If your employer has work available for you within your restrictions, you have to go back and do it. If you go back and you do that job, the question then becomes how much are you earning? And there's a mathematical equation involved to determine whether or not you're owed any benefits. We'll talk about that in greater detail in a later video. I often get asked, if I file a workers' compensation claim, am I going to lose my job? Nobody's going to be able to tell you for sure if that's going to happen. However, I can tell you that the Florida workers' compensation law has a specific provision in it that indicates that if your employer coerces, intimidates, threatens to discharge you just because you filed a workers' compensation claim, you will be able to seek legal action against them. You're going to have to reach out to an employment attorney to pursue that. And if that's happened to you, please feel free to reach out to my office. I can certainly refer you on to a good employment attorney who can provide you with some assistance. Having said that, most cases do end up in what we call a settlement. We'll talk more about settlements in the upcoming video. But for purposes of our discussion in this video, if you settle your workers' compensation claim, you typically have to sign what we call a general release and resignation. A general release and resignation is a separate agreement between you and the employer whereby you give up your right to ever work for the company again in the future, you give up your job, and you give up the right to sue them for anything that may have happened to you while you were an employee. So if there's a possibility that you have a claim for gender discrimination, racial discrimination, or some other type of employment claim, you would be giving that up. You also indicate that you're going to keep the agreement confidential. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it informative. Our intent was to provide you with some basic information about what exactly a workers' compensation claim is and what you might be entitled to. We intend on going into greater detail in future videos about other issues involving workers' compensation claims. In fact, the next video we're going to be doing has to do with settlements in workers' compensation claims, what exactly your case can settle for, and how settlements are valued. If you or somebody you know has been injured on the job in the state of Florida and you need assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We can be reached at 407-531-8477, or you can find us online at bdtlawfirm.com. Thank you.